the Panthers' second, third, and fourth round picks for 2023, along with a fifth rounder in 24, all to secure the running back. Christian McCaffrey expected to take the field with the Niners on Sunday against the Chiefs. No time like the present, right? Shannon, what grade do you give the 49ers for this trade?
Skip, I give it a B. I think it's a very good deal for the 49ers. He's one of the best backs in football. You can make a case from his rookie year. In his first 2 years, Skip, he was the best back in football. But then he was besieged by a rash of injuries. And that's the only question. That's the reason I didn't give it an A. Can he stay healthy? Because if he can stay healthy with Kyle's mind, the way he can diagram runs and get him the ball along with a Deebo Samuel, this could be something very, very special. He doesn't make them contenders because they got too many important players that are out, Skip. The best offensive lineman in football, Trent Williams, is out. Nick Bosa, who was before the first two or three games, he was in the Defensive Player of the Year discussion. You got Eric Armstead, Elijah Mitchell, the left guard, Aaron Banks. All those guys are out. When you get those guys back, McCaffrey's on the field and had a couple of weeks up under his belt to get acclimated to the system. Then we'll get a better picture of who and what the 49ers are. But I like this acquisition. I like a guy because he can catch the football. Yep. He can run with the football. He's more than a willing on passing down. That he can block. He can do everything that you want him to do. But it just goes to show you, Baker get there and they return the house down. The house was already on fire. And I expect Baker to come put the fire out with a hose. And what did he bring? A big old 55-gallon drum of gasoline. Boom! And their shit blows.
If they hadn't got robbed in the opener, it would have been a different story. I told you they needed one game.
What you told me was Baker was going to save the day. And all he did was end the day sooner. The party was supposed to end at 4 o'clock. We've all had that homeboy to show up and end the party early with his bull jive.
Okay, this is not a Baker topic, or I would just shred you. I would shred you.
I gave a B. I gave it a B. If he can stay healthy, Skip, they could be on to something.
So I think your B is suggesting you don't trust that he'll stay healthy.
Skip, he missed 23 games. He missed
23 out of 33 over a 2-year period, 2020 and 2021.
Right.
Obviously. All right. Just because of the injury factor, just because of the shorter shelf life for that position, especially the way he plays it, which is all out.
Especially his first 2 years, Skip, 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000-yard receiving, so you got to get a lot of touches.
I'm going to stick in minus on my grade, but I'm still giving it an A minus, A minus. I love the fit, the psychological, emotional fit. You watch this young man basically grow up around your locker room, coached by Mike Shanahan, with Kyle around your locker room and Christian around your locker room, because Ed McCaffrey, the father, was a fellow receiver of yours.
His locker was across from mine.
That's a beautiful thing. That doesn't happen that often in the world of sports, where it comes full circle back to Kyle Shanahan being able to acquire Christian McCaffrey because the Carolina Panthers fell completely apart and went straight to hell, and the coaches fired, and the owner finally said, I can't stand it, burn it down and start it over. So all of a sudden he became available. It was reported the Rams were very close in the hunt for him. It is basically just an auction. And yet the Carolina Panthers wanted 2 firsts. That's what that started with.
You ain't get no 2 firsts with no running back. Ain't no running back giving you that.
So the 49ers end up saying, well, how about this? How about a 2? How about a 3? How about a 4? And then how about a 5 the next draft, right? 2 drafts from now. And finally, that outbid the Rams.
49ers don't even need to skip. They don't even have a draft next year. They ain't got no first, no second, no third, no fourth. Hey, y'all take off.
Okay, but they did have the advantage of the compensatory picks for Saleh and McDaniel and Mayhew. So they had 3 compensatory picks that they could throw in to sweeten the deal. And they sweetened it enough that they landed it. I can't go to Stolen because even though he's only 26, he's got a lot of wear and tear on his body. We had him on at the Super Bowl back in 2020, and he really impressed me because he's a sharp young man who takes supreme care of his body.
He absolutely does.
He whatever can be done, he's doing to try to stay healthy. I worried about him coming out of Stanford because he couldn't stay healthy in college football, and you always say, hurt in college, hurt in pro. he just goes so hard. He plays all out. He's not a ducker and dodger. He runs through people. And if you ask him to run up the middle, he will try to run up the middle.
Skip, because you think about it, in college, they ran in between the tackles because Stanford has a very pro-style offense. But he had over 300 catches. He's not Derrick Henry.
No.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Skip, he's what, 5'10"-ish, 205 maybe?
Maybe.
And to take 300 carries in college?
You can't bell cow him.
No.
You can't just line him up in the eye and say, here he comes.
No.
You know, they've tried, they were able to do it with Zeke in Dallas because he's 225-ish.
Right.
And even
it took its toll on him.
It's taking a toll. He's having a little bit of a bounce back, but it's not that much of a bounce back.
Right.
Because you're just not going to last very long doing it that way.
Right.
Emmitt Smith lasted because
he ain't taking no punishment.
He took no punishment. He avoided contact better than any back I have ever witnessed. This young man, not so much.
No.
So I fear that for him. But now we got the Kyle factor that you mentioned. Kyle Shanahan, with some help from his father above, he's got genius in coaching and strategizing the run game that astounds me. It's all what I call not sleight of hand, it's sleight of handoff, because it's a lot of moving parts, it's a lot of misdirection, it's a lot of creativity between the tackles where it's all about creating angles that nobody creates better than Kyle.
Right.
Well, if you can give this kid some angles, some off tackles, some misdirections, where he can hit a crease.
It's all about creating hesitation.
It is. Well, if you can maximize him with your strategy, that works for me. So I love the fit, and I love it that he's getting to go, quote unquote, home. He didn't grow up there, but he played at Stanford. And Palo Alto, as you know, from where the stadium is, it's like 10 minutes away. So he's going to feel back home.
Right there in Santa Clara.